Hey guys, we're going to do a little art project today that I think you guys will enjoy. It's called salt painting, and if you've never done it, it doesn't require a whole lot of materials, which is why I thought it was a good idea for today. Most of you should probably have this stuff in your house. All you need is school glue. It doesn't matter if it's Elmer's or Crazy Art or whatever, as long as it's the liquid kind you can squeeze out. You can't use a glue stick. And you're going to need some salt. And it doesn't matter if it's iodized or non-iodized. Either one you have is just fine, as long as it's granulated salt. You probably will need a paper plate to pour your salt off into. A paintbrush. I have two, but you really only need one. Some water for your paintbrush. And watercolor paint. Again, it doesn't matter if it's Crazy Art or what brand it is, as long as it's watercolor. And if you don't have this at home, you can use some food coloring. If your mom and dad has some food coloring, you probably just need a few colors. It doesn't matter what they are. And you're going to need some cardstock or construction paper. Now, all of you have some white cardstock at home. I sent home 4 or 5 sheets with your last packet. But it looks best if you can do it on black. I don't have any black. Blue was the closest thing I have here at home, so we're going to use blue. Now, you can also pre-print it if your mom or dad has a printer and you want to just go ahead and print you across on the paper, that's fine. I'm going to draw mine with a Sharpie. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that real quick and we'll get started. So I'm just going to draw me across with my Sharpie, and I'm probably making this way too fat, but you guys know me. I'll just do it however. And as you know, mine's not perfect, as you can see. None of this is going to matter in a minute anyway, so. Yeah, that's not a good cross. How about you guys, we just turn it over? That's what we do in class, isn't it? We just turn it over when we don't like the way it looks. And we do it over. And I'm going to make mine maybe a little bit more out at the ends. How about that? Besides, originality means a lot. You definitely want to make sure that it's all you and you're using your creativity. And nothing says creativity like something looking different than everybody else's. So once you get your cross on here, you want to outline it, and you want to do this as thin as possible. Those of you who've had me before, we've done stuff like this before with the glue. We don't want to have a big circle or a blob here and there, because then it won't look very good. So we just want to have a good thin line to outline our cross with. And the good news is, guys, you do not have to wait for this to dry like we did our mosaics. You can go ahead and do it while your glue is wet, which is great. And if when we're finished you find that this is something that you really enjoy, and I think you will, you can draw anything you want and paint it this way. It's easy, it's cheap, and it's not too messy. So I'm going to go ahead and use my salt while my glue is good and wet, and I'm going to just cover up my glue with my salt. And yeah, I'm making a little bit of a mess. I probably should have put down some newspaper underneath this, but it'll be okay. You want to cover it real good. Looks crazy, doesn't it? If you can see your glue sticking through, you need a little bit more. Okay. We'll let that sit there just for a minute. And now I'm going to use that paper plate to pour off all this extra salt that's not sticking to the glue. Because all we want to keep is what's on our glue. And you can use, you could actually use this if you're going to do another picture. You could use this for your next picture. Okay, now that we have our salt on our cross, we're going to go ahead and get that coffee cup out of the way. Go ahead and wet our paintbrush a little bit. And just start picking colors. And I find that the really bright colors look really good. If you think about a snow cone, you go to a snow cone truck and get yourself a snow cone. It's got all that tiny little bits of ice that the ice is made up out of. And then how the different colors look on it, especially if you get one that's got mixed colors. That's what I think this kind of looks like. And we want to get it real good and coated with the paint. And that's one thing I already know. All of you guys are good at making sure your paint is really wet. And then we're just going to start dabbing it, see? Don't mash down on it, you just dab it with your color. Now I'm using 2 paint brushes today, but you can use 1 or 2 or however many you want for your different colors. I just thought it would be quicker since it's trying to show you on a video for me to do 2 colors at a time. Let's use some blue. This is a pretty light blue. And now we're just going to dab that. See how it just kind of starts to bleed and run through the salt. And that blue actually doesn't show up very well since I'm on blue paper. But now if you're doing this on black paper or a dark colored construction paper, those light colors show up really good. Miss Bradford won't like our orange, but we're going to use it anyway. And just dab it on. And let it stick. And since I'm already in the orange, you can go in a straight line if you want, but I'm gonna put me some little orange spots here and there on here and go back and fill those others in. That way when I change colors, I don't have to change so often. Put some on this corner. And we'll get some, oh, I know the girls are like the purple, so let's do some purple. Some up here. Don't need a lot of water, just enough to make it good and wet. And you might find that it bleeds onto your paper just a little bit, and that's okay if that happens. Because it'll dry, and then it'll look just fine. Trying to hurry, guys. I think my cameraman's arms might be getting tired. Maybe I should fix him something nice today to thank him for supper. You think? You guys like being thanked with food, don't you? There's one thing I know about my students. I know that they like to get rewarded with candy and treats. Who doesn't, right? And you do this as creative as you want to. You go back and put in as many colors as you want. And that's really all there is to it, guys. You just keep going until you get all of this covered. And when you're finished, you're probably going to shake loose just a little bit more salt. So once you're completely done, just go ahead and dust it off again. And then just let it sit till it dries real good. And then later on tonight or in the morning, your glue will be good and hard, and it'll have that salt all in it. And all your colors will be on there nice. And then if you want, you can go back and you can say, okay, I've got yellow here, so I'm going to paint yellow all the way out like a sunbeam. And that works best if you're doing it on white paper. If you're doing it on black paper, you would just take your glue and maybe you want to just put some little beams like this on there. Of course, you would want to do that at the time that you put your salt on. You don't want to go back and do that later because you cover up your colors, but you get the general idea. And I can't wait to see what you guys make. I'm going to put a picture up of this completed. That way you can see what it looks like and maybe a couple examples. And when you get it done and you give it a shot, you just send me a picture. You can upload it in the Google Classroom, or turn around here. You can upload it in the Google Classroom, or you can go ahead and just have your mom or dad text it to me, and I'll still give you credit. So give it a try and let me see what you come up with. I can't wait to see it. Bye, guys.